Bye, apartment. My big view or tall view. Let me get my sneakers on. I think Superman took everything out. Okay, let's go to the elevator. Oh, I'm coming. Perfect timing. All right. Off we go. Off to our condo finally. So we're out here. Superman's over there waiting because checking out of here was 11 and we can't go and leave our bags at the condo until 12 because that's when the other people are leaving and housekeeping has to clean. So I have something that I want to talk to you guys about, and I want to do it now because we've already done one video for the year, which was the apartment tour here. But I want to talk about something before the year starts rolling and we get really busy. But as you can tell, Bangkok, it's pretty noisy, and this really could be like a sit-down video, like where I just sit at home and talk to you guys, but those are always boring to me, and I don't like when I watch and people get emotional and they're just sitting in front of the camera, so I like to try to do other things so that it doesn't feel like I'm just talking about my life to the camera and not entertaining you guys in other ways also. So we are going to drop this stuff off, go to Terminal 21, grab some lunch, and then we're going to walk to Bench Kitty Park, or maybe another park if Superman finds another park. And this way I'll be away from the noise. This sports bra is driving me crazy. Oh my gosh. I have to go clothes shopping. I have like nothing. Oh my gosh. But yeah, so it's something I've been wanting to talk to you guys about since I had my surgery, and now is the best time to get it out there, talk to you about it, and yeah, so let's make our way to our condo, finally moving out. Woohoo! Of all of this Airbnb movement. All of this Airbnb movement is finally done, so I'm really excited. But all right guys, we'll see you soon. I am so excited. We are back. So this is the lobby of our condo. So if you've seen our old vlogs, you would have known this is where we stayed when we lived in Bangkok last time. And we're gonna wait here for the housekeeper. Someone's bringing stuff in. So we're gonna wait here for the housekeeper, and we'll leave our bags upstairs and then go eat. And then we're gonna go to the park, and you and I are going to have a little sit down chat. A really important one too, so. We're gonna see the apartment for the first time. I'm so excited. So excited. Gonna see AF, 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 AF. I'm really excited. Oh, it takes forever.
Top 4 for the top cheese.
These are stressful, okay. It might be. Still cleaning. Oh, she brought it in, but they're still cleaning. I wonder if we should.
Wow, only the 8th floor? I can jump from here. Oh, it's nothing coming from the 35th.
After we've been on 35. Oh my gosh. So we were going to go to Vinci Kitty Park. I have Superman's phone because there are notes on here that I needed because I wanted to talk to you guys about my surgery and what really happened. You know, I talked about my foot, I talked about the healing of my foot, like everything that I went through in regards to my foot. But what people don't know is I've been battling with something. I said I wasn't going to cry, and I'm not going to cry in this video because this is ridiculous. But we were going to go to, real quick, we were going to go to Vinci Kitty Park, but we ended up going to Tesco closer to the condo to eat. So I'm going to do a whole different video on Vinci Kitty Park this weekend for you guys. But I really had to get this video done and out because I've been holding on to the information for a long time, not sure how I wanted to present it. So I'm in the little library area of our condo, and I figured this is a nice quiet space. So here's what happened. When I was 16, if you see me looking down, it's because I'm looking down at my notes. But when I was about 16 or 17 years old, I was diagnosed with PCOS. PCOS is polycystic ovarian syndrome, and it's an endocrine disorder. A lot of women now are coming out that they have it, but when I had it back when I was 16, 20 years ago, it was still fairly new. Doctors didn't know anything about it. And so I got it 16, 17 years old, and no one really knew what to do. It was like, oh, she's gonna battle with infertility, basically was the whole gist of it. So I'm 16, 17 years old, got diagnosed with PCOS, and automatically right away doctors are saying you have to be on this medication. So at 2021, from the age of 20 to 21, I was put on high doses of metformin. Metformin is a drug that a lot of people use now for like weight loss, things like that, but it's used for women with PCOS and insulin resistance. It helps with infertility, and it helps with the insulin resistance in women. Now, insulin resistance is basically when your body doesn't react to the insulin that your body is producing. Basically, you're a diabetic, but usually like meds don't work. There's just so many theories behind insulin resistance, like what comes first, PCOS or insulin resistance. So that's just a whole big mess. But anyway, I got put on high doses of metformin when I was about 20, 21 years old, and that completely changed my life, and I didn't realize that it was going to have such a huge impact on me as an adult and things like that. So I was put on the metformin. I know now I probably shouldn't have been. It was extremely high doses. I think I was on it like 500 milligrams 4 times a day, something crazy. It was, but my body never reacted to the metformin very well. But when I first started taking it, I noticed that my sugar levels went from normal to abnormal. So they started getting higher and higher. Then when I was 22, 23 years old, my insulin was getting a lot worse. So at this point, at 23, I had already gained over 100 pounds. I got a blood clot in my calf from birth control pills. And I got this blood clot and ended up gaining 100 pounds, and it was so horrible. And I had to really like fight and push my way to lose. So I lost like 110 pounds. But anyway, my insulin was getting so much worse. 22, 23, I was in a horrible marriage at the time. It was abusive. And so the doctors told me, you need an insulin pump. And I knew in my heart that that wasn't the case. Like, I know my body. Even then I was like, no, I know an insulin pump just isn't going to feel right. There are things like when you're going through things, there's situations when you're going through them where you have to come, to reality. But that was a reality that I knew wasn't That wasn't going to be my situation. So, but doctors pushed it, and this is like, I'm at Mayo Clinic working, so I have good doctors, and people are really pushing it, and I was like, no, I don't need an insulin pump. I'm going to continue to work out and lose this weight, because at this point I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's just weight related, right? So at 27 years old, I got my divorce, and I started seeing different specialists. So I started seeing different doctors. I wasn't under the same healthcare plan. And so I was going to different doctors, and every doctor wanted to put me on metformin. And I kept telling them, I've been on metformin for so long and it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. I've been on the slow release, you know, all different types of combinations of metformin, and it just never, ever worked for me. And it was always bizarre that it never worked. No one ever listened to me. It came to a point where I think the doctors were just like, oh, she's just being non-compliant. And it wasn't that, because I didn't want my sugars to continue to get worse and higher. So basically no one listened to me, and I was living with a high blood glucose for a long time. When I say long, I was basically like in diabetic coma, walking around. I got tired easily. That's why a lot of times, like if we were doing things, sometimes I would get exhausted. I wouldn't want to go hang out with people. It was a lot for me mentally, physically, but I ended up losing the weight, and my sugar was getting even worse. So I knew that there was more to it than what I was seeing. I just knew that I had to stay consistent, eat good, exercise, you know, spiritually stay in line, things like that. So I went to a specialist in Hawaii, and the doctor said, I have no idea what to do to help you. And he was puzzled. He was like, I don't know what else to do. You've been on insulin. I was on insulin, like injections, oral medications, everything. And my sugar wouldn't go down. So fast forward to the surgery. My surgery was in, I believe, June or July. I think it was June. 2023 is just completely out of control. We get to surgery day, and I'm in my gown. I'm waiting for them to come to wheel me to surgery because of the necrotizing fasciitis that I had in my foot. And this doctor comes in, and she's this cute doctor with a Hello Kitty mask, and you know, she was like, you can't have your surgery. You know, she introduced herself. She was an endocrinologist. And I was like, endocrinology? What is going to happen now? And she told me basically, you can't have the surgery if your sugar is at a certain level. And my sugar was way too high for them to do surgery. So the surgeons, because it was a life and death situation, they had to go in and stop this bacteria infection from continuing to spread the way it was, because it was spreading really rapid. Basically said, you know, oh, you can't do it until the level comes down. It has to be, you know, a certain level. And so let's go back. No one ever comes in here. Ever. Never. No one ever comes in here. Well, this is the raw reality of recording. But this is why I wanted to go to the park. But anyway, that's so crazy. No one ever comes in here. Anyway, here, I'm done with your phone for notes. But
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, like what?
Really?
What do you need? These fake books behind me? But anyway, so she walked in and she says, your sugar has to come down. And I said, good luck. I wasn't trying to be mean. I was like, good luck. I've had all the best doctors at Mayo Clinic try to help me and heal me, and it didn't work. So I'm 37 years old now, and nothing has ever worked. So I really had just gotten accustomed to my sugars are high and I'm just a functioning high glucose walker. You know what I mean? That's just what I ended up kind of coming to terms with in my mind. I was like, well, my blood sugar says one thing, but I'm not going to allow that to dictate how I live my life. I'm going to stay active. I'm going to eat right. You know, I'm not going to continue like self-sabotage myself. So she walked in and I looked at Brandon and I said, well, I guess I'm not having this surgery. I guess it's not meant to have this surgery. And of course, like everyone was concerned because I needed it right away. So the endocrinologist said, I have an hour. The doctors are giving me an hour. I said, an hour? An hour to fix something that doctors have not been able to fix since I was 16 years old. So I was like, okay, you know. And she like pumped me really hard with insulin. And I've had insulin drips before. Honestly, you guys, it was such a crazy time. I don't know. It's kind of blurred exactly what she ended up doing, but all I know is she ended up giving me a high dose of insulin, and they checked my blood sugar. I think they gave her 2 hours, and after the first hour it was still high, and I was like, yeah, see, and then she said, okay, I'm gonna do something else, and she's like, please just trust me, you know. And I'm like, okay. She ends up leaving, doing some more. I think she gave me more insulin, added something else, and she came back and they were like, all right, your sugar came down and it's low enough, you know, to go and have surgery. And I was like, all right, cool, God came through. But then I knew after surgery, like it was just gonna go back to being high. And when I'm talking high, like I mean 250 was my normal, like fasting. Right when I wake up, fasting normal. And so I have the surgery and I'm in the hospital for about 5 days. I was supposed to stay longer, but I was healing at a rapid rate. And a big reason why my sugar needed to be balanced is because in order to heal, my glucose had to be at a normal level in order for my body to heal properly and to heal at a good pace. So she ended up being on the team and I saw her every day while I was in the hospital. And after surgery, they checked my sugar before I went to bed and it was still pretty high. And then the next day, I don't even know how she did it. I don't know. But the next day, I think my sugar was down to like 150. And then it kept coming down and it kept getting lower. And then it was under 100. And I was like, I've never seen under 100 in so long. And so I was just so ecstatic. And that was back in June, you guys. And now we are in January of 2024. My sugar's still normal. It's so normal to the point where if we're out and I don't eat, I can feel my blood sugar dropping. Like I'll start to get the shivers, like I'll start shaking. And it's getting better where I don't go through that as much now because my body is used to this lower number. And even though it's not too low, I can feel when it's too low, and it's scary sometimes, but it makes me laugh and it's pretty comforting to know that my body is doing what it's supposed to do. So I continued to see her, and I love my endocrinologist so much, and she ended up putting me on medication while my foot was still healing because we wanted to make sure that my sugars were still under control so that my foot can heal properly and at a good rate, right? So she put me on medication, and then it came to a point where I was moving more, I was more active, and my sugars would drop because I was active now. Before, when I was on them, my sugars were low, and that was me not moving because I couldn't walk yet. And I was on crutches and things. So I'm at a point now where as long as I'm eating right and working out and really monitoring my stress, just basically working out and eating right, then I don't need medication. What she explained is I went through, it was called like glucose toxicity. So my body was basically like, it was just full of, it thought it was toxic. There was just so much built up in me that it was toxic, and it got to a point, I'm guessing that my body just got used to it, although it was slowly killing me. And so the surgery with my foot had nothing to do with the insulin resistance. Let me make that very clear now, because it is something that's very common amongst like diabetics and things, but that is not what happened with my foot. What happened with my foot was a bacteria infection, and it happened because of the environments we were in, as far as like, again, you know, the gym and things like that. And so it had nothing to do with that. But God used this situation to heal something I was going through for over 10 years. I never ever would have thought that I'd be talking to you now saying that I have normal blood sugar, and it's normal not because of insulin, not because of medication, not because of anything else, but because of whatever she did. She pumped my body with insulin and the medication, and it like almost flushed out the toxicity in my bloodstream. I had to see her after surgery, and we did like a full workup and everything, and she said your pancreas it's doing everything it needs to do on its own. It's working on its own now. And then we started talking to her about like, you know, now it's possible to have a healthy baby, because now that that's under control, and that's something that I've been wanting for a very long time. So all of this just, it was a really rough and difficult time going through everything with my foot, but at the same time, God truly did heal me, and he used that situation to be able to heal me in another situation. And now my moods are better, I'm happier, I'm, you know, able to go out and do more and enjoy life so much more because I'm not so exhausted. I can have more fun eating certain things, knowing that, you know, it's not gonna slowly kill me, just have to have moderation. But honestly, I know that my foot was a huge miracle, because it genuinely was. It really, really was. And just how fast it healed and everything. But the hugest miracle. And it's so funny. And if I hadn't said this to Superman or my uncle, I don't think anyone would have believed me. But I said, before I went into surgery, I was like, can you imagine if God heals the insulin? Can you imagine if that's what God does? And sure enough, that's exactly what he did. So it took me a while to do this video, simply because I also wanted to give it months of seeing how everything worked as far as the medication, and seeing, you know, I don't know, I guess part of me was like, oh, I just want to make sure it's not just like a little fluke. I want to make sure my pancreas is really working, my sugar is really low. And it is. It is. I'm here telling you, January 2024, my sugar is better than it has been since I was 16 years old. So over, oh my gosh, that's not just 10 years, that's over 20 years. I forget I'm not 26 anymore, but that's over 20 years. Literally that long dealing with high blood sugar and feeling like complete crap. So I am really, really happy. I love my endocrinologist here in Thailand. And you know, the real purpose of this video, and I wanted to do it before the year really started, because when things continue to unfold in our lives this year, you know, I want you guys to be a part of the journey, and I want you to just to know how amazing and how great God is, and how powerful he is. And You know, I don't know if there's anyone that's dealing with PCOS or insulin resistance, and that's another reason why I wanted to make this video, is because this YouTube channel started as a health journey, and so many of you followed me because of that and knew what I was going through with PCOS when I was doing the green smoothie cleanses and things like that. Sometimes we get really discouraged because we feel like, you know, God's not working or things aren't happening as fast as we may want them to, but just continue to be faithful and do, you know, you're supposed to do. Eat right, exercise, get good sleep. All of those 3 things are so important. And, you know, continue to pray and just really trust God. I did not think that I would be healed from this insulin resistance at all. And especially being in Thailand, because there's this misconception that unless you're in America, like America's where you get the best care, but there are great doctors everywhere. And truth be told, the doctors at Mayo Clinic couldn't even heal me. This, you know, doctor with the Hello Kitty mask in Thailand was able to finally, you know, heal me and be used by God to heal me, because God definitely used her. And now I'm able to look to the future and, you know, imagine having a healthy baby one day, you know, God willing, and things like that. So I really just wanted to, I obviously didn't want it to be like a sit down video like in a place like this. But again, I'll do the video at the park for you guys this weekend. But I really had to sit down and share that the biggest testimony from my surgery was not my foot. It was the insulin resistance. So now I'm able to live a normal life, and that's unheard of. You know, doctors tell you all the time, you know, it's irreversible, get an insulin pump. And there are certain situations where that's necessary and that's needed. But with everything, anything, I encourage you to continue to, or if you don't do it now, but, you know, start praying, asking God to show you like what needs to be done, because He wants you healthy. He wants your temple healthy, you know? And so I'm very, very grateful that the situation with my foot happened, because that led to healing in another way that is honestly unheard of. I truthfully believe diet, exercise, and a good heart, you can change anything, you know, with God's help, obviously. And He gave me the strength to keep going all these years, losing weight, you know, going from 265 to what am I now? 170, 165, 170, 165. 165. We're going to say 165. 165.
Round it up.
Round it down. 165. But anyway, the point is I lost 100 pounds, and, you know, I stayed consistent, and I was faithful, and God was very faithful to me. So I'm very, very grateful, and I hope this encourages someone. Let me know in the comment section if you need a cheerleader in your corner, if you need prayer to continue on this journey, to trust God for healing. Oh, I got a spasm in my back. Ah! Devil's a liar. But yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys, and because there was so much commotion around my foot. Again, just great healing, amazing, but the real healing happened even deeper. So all right, it is getting late, and so we're gonna see. I think housekeeping is done, cleaning the apartment, and I'm sorry I didn't take you guys to the park, but things happen, last minute switcheroos, you know. But Saturday we'll go to Venture Kitty Park, and I'll show you Venture Kitty. But please stay encouraged, and just know that, you know, healing comes in so many different forms, shapes, sizes, from people you might not even expect it to come from. God uses anybody to heal you, and because that's what he wants to do. He wants to heal you. So I'm very grateful to have a normal blood sugar now, without needing medicine, as long as I do what I'm supposed to do. So, all right, we're gonna go upstairs and check out our apartment on the 8th floor. So I'm so happy. But all right, guys, our next video will be Superman starting training tomorrow. Oh, actually, I don't know if it'll be our podcast. I don't know. Let me know what you guys thought of our first podcast. We really enjoyed it. We had a lot of fun, and people were pretty shocked about our experience in the Philippines. But we'll be doing another podcast this week, and then tomorrow I'm also vlogging Superman's first day back in training. You won't really see too much of him, but I'll show you the gym where he's training at now that we're back in Bangkok and not in Phuket. But all right, you guys, I'm exhausted. I'm so tired. All right, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'm really excited for this new year, new adventures. I'm going to be vlogging more just to keep you in the loop of our everyday life. I feel like I dropped the ball so much last year because I was going through surgery and everything, but our life is pretty crazy and adventurous, and you never know what's gonna happen. So I'm gonna try to record more so you can be a part of the confusion, in a sense, you know. All right, guys, like, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.